Project Work of English, Class 12th by Meenakshi Negi on the topic The Last Lesson. The Last Lesson by Alphonse Daudet. About the author, Alphonse Daudet. He was a French novelist and a short story writer. He was born on 13th May 1840 and died on 16th December 1897 at the age of 57 years. Background of the story. The story is set in the days of Franco-Prussian War, in which French was defeated by Prussia, led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. This story tells us about the effect this had on life at school. Theme. The pain is inflicted on the people of the territory by its conquerors by taking away the right to study or speak their language. Subtheme. Students and teachers' attitude to learning and teaching respectively. Plot. The Order from Berlin. The last lesson delivered by M. Hamel and its impact. Characters of the story. Franz, the narrator and a schoolboy. M. Hamel, a teacher, a strict disciplinarian. Villagers, which include Old Hauser, former mayor, former postmaster, and several others. Watcher, the blacksmith. Summary. The last lesson, written by Alphonse Daudet, narrates about the year 1870 when the Prussian forces under Bismarck attacked and captured France. The French districts of Alsace and Lorraine went into Prussian hands. The new Prussian rulers discontinued the teaching of French in the schools of these two districts. The French teachers were asked to leave. Now, M. Hamel could no longer stay in his school. Still, he taught his students with utmost devotion and sincerity as ever. One such student of M. Hamel was Franz, who dreaded French class, and M. Hamel's iron rod came to the school that day, thinking he would be punished as he had not learned his lesson or participles. But on reaching school, he found Hamel dressed in his fine Sunday clothes and the old people of the village sitting quietly on the back benches. It was due to an order from Berlin. That was the French's first day when he realized for the first time how important French was for him. But it was his last lesson in French. The story depicts the pathos of the whole situation about how people feel when they don't learn their language. It tells about the significance of one's language in one's life for the very existence of a race and how important it is to safeguard it. Franz is scared while going to school because, as he started very late to school, dreaded the scolding from his teacher, which was M. Hamel, had not learned his lesson on participles, thought of running away from school, wanted to spend the days out of doors, attracted by the chirping of the birds outside, tempted to watch the Prussian soldiers drilling, resisted all temptation and hurried off to school. Seen at the town hall, the crowd in front of the bulletin board conveyed all bad news like the lost battles, the draft orders of the commanding officers. Franz, worried at the gathering of the people, thought what matter could be, astonished when the blacksmith remarked that there was plenty of time to reach the school. Usual bustle at school. Noise of the opening and closing of desks, lesson repeated loudly in unison. Sound of the teacher's ruler rapping on the table. Usual bustle missing at school that day. Everything still and quiet, looked like a Sunday morning, all classmates already in their places. M. Hamel, the teacher, walking up and down with his terrible iron ruler under his arm. Franz, frightened to enter the room. Franz, surprised at M. Hamel's kindness M. Hamel behaved very kind to Franz, asked him kindly to occupy his seat. M. Hamel in his beautiful green coat, frilled shirt, and the little black silk cap which he wore on inspection days and prize days. The whole school looked strange and solemn. Franz, surprised to see the backbenches being occupied by the village people. M. Hamel's surprising remarks. M. Hamel announced in a grave and gentle tone that it was their last lesson in French. Orders had come from Berlin to teach only German in the school of Alsace and Lorraine. New teacher would join the school next day. Franz realizes the grim situation. He felt sorry for not learning his lessons, regretted for wasting time in wandering here and there, regretted that he considered his books of grammar and history a nuisance. Now he regarded his books as his friends, set at the idea that M. Hamel was giving away, forgot all about M. Hamel's ruler and his cranky nature, realizes that M. Hamel had put on his fine Sunday clothes in honor of the last lesson, an affectionate tribute by villagers. Villagers present in the classroom, regretted for not going to school very often, came back to thanks M. Hamel for his 40 years of faithful service. They have came here to mark the respect for the country that was theirs no more. Fran's failure to learn the rules of participles. He couldn't recite rules for participles, wished that he could recite the rules without even one mistake. Mixed up everything, felt sorry and dared not to look up. M. Hamel's reaction. M. Hamel didn't scold Franz, commented on man's nature of putting off things to tomorrow, remarked that it was sad that they were Frenchmen and yet could neither speak nor write French. M. Hamel's general view about learning. Parents should anxious for their child to learn, prefer to put their child to work on a farm or at the mills, wanted them to earn some money, also blamed himself for sending them to Iran, regretted that he gave them a holiday when he wanted to go for fishing. M. Hamel's views about French language. French language was the most logical language in the world, called it the clearest and the most logical language, exhorted them to guard it and never forget it. Students displayed rare reaction. Everyone was quiet and did their work. There was complete silence. The only sound heard was scratching of pens over the papers. The little ones were busy tracing their fish hooks. Nobody paid attention to beetles who flew in. Franz remarked about M. Hummels as a dedicated teacher. He had served the school for 40 years. Nothing had changed. The garden outside the window and his class remained the same, but the desks and benches had worn smooth. The walnut trees in the garden became taller, the whole point that he had planted twinned about the windows on the roof. M. Hamel displayed his courage, heard every lesson to the last, delivered his last lesson in history. Everyone present in the class became emotional and they even shed tears. Even the old Hauser cried and his voice trembled with emotion, and it was so funny to hear him that all wanted to laugh and cry. M. Hamel grew emotional and patriotic. The church clock struck 12. The trumpets of the Prussians sounded under the windows. He grew emotional, took up trays of chalk and wrote Viva la France on the blackboard, which simply means that long live France. That then he made a gesture to them with his hand and said, School is dismissed, you may go. That's all for the day. Thank you everyone.